Right.
Yeah, we could do Dave Filoni real quick.
Yeah.
Because I got questions really. Mostly because I gotta leave that to y'all, man. I don't understand. So hey, yeah, y'all bring that John up. Because I got.
So basically, what you wanna?
I got it. Good, man.
Basically, Star Wars. I got this from the avclub.com. Star Wars enters a new era as Ahsoka and the Clone Wars. Dave Filoni becomes chief creative officer of Lucasfilms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the article here says the man who can be trusted with Star Wars lore now that Disney is running things is Dave Filoni. To others, he represents nearly all of the franchise's silliest missteps, pulling Star Wars away from. Hang on, this is the wrong part of this article. Hang on. I'm thinking they're like shitting on Filoni. Okay, basically, he's not replacing Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy, who has shepherded the franchise in the post-Lucas era, but he has been appointed the company's new chief creative officer, which will involve him working directly with Kennedy to help plan out, quote, the next generation of Star Wars shows and movies, end quote. That is great, because if anybody, I recently finished watching all of Clone Wars. I'd never seen the final season, right? So I went back, rewatched all the episodes. I mean, within the last month, I watched.
Very cool.
So you know what? You've seen the last episode of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The 7th season, man. That Order 66 scene, man. I was just like, damn, man. It was. I hate seeing Order 66. Anytime I see it, it just breaks my heart, man.
Because they did the same thing in Attack of the Clones. Right?
Every time.
Every time you see it, it's like fuck. It's like Red Wedding, dog.
Repeated like every time.
Yeah,
and it's like it's a linchpin in the fucking continuity of the universe, like of that universe.
Right. It's so great though. It's
without acknowledging 66 happened.
Yeah,
it's not great in the way of good, but it's such a great event in the way of the story and the narrative of what's happening. Right, like I hate it, man. I hate seeing that shit every time. But to me, this is the best thing for Star Wars, man. To anybody who had a problem with The Last Jedi, I had to shudder to think what they did to my man Luke. Anybody who didn't like the Rise of Skywalker, this is the best thing because Dave Filoni knows Star Wars in and out. He knows the characters. He knows who's who. He knows how to tell interesting stories. I mean, you just look at his track record as far as with The Mandalorian, with working so closely with George Lucas on the Clone Wars. I didn't know that George Lucas put up a lot of his own money to fund the Clone Wars. I didn't know that. That's what I heard recently. Yeah, that he invested a lot of his own personal capital to make Stone. So the last episode of Clone Wars, before they came out with the final season, was when Ahsoka got, spoiler alert for Clone Wars, guys. When Ahsoka got what did she get? She got sent away, cast out of the Jedi Order. She didn't get cast out, but she walked away. That shit pissed me off. Like, none of y'all got her back. None of y'all just gonna cast her aside like she did this. You know what I'm saying?
Little moments, man.
Like, obviously she didn't bomb the Jedi Temple, man. I've been with y'all all these years, and y'all just quick to Mace Windu was like, we have to expel you from the Order. Damn, man.
So that right there is like illustrates the flaws with the Jedi, right? Like huge flaws with the Jedi, right? Like even though like you have like greats like Anakin, and because Anakin saw the flaws, right? Like Ahsoka, Dooku, right?
Dooku saw
like
flaws.
But there are like super huge flaws with the Jedi system, and one of those is the neutrality. That right there is like they should have spoken up for her in that moment. They should have at least Mace Windu should have said like, "Yo, just hold on, let me talk to them. Let me talk to them. Let me just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Just stay. Don't go anywhere." But it's that fucking neutrality. It's that fucking like kind of like robotic sense of like not wanting to give into the emotion, right? Like almost like Vulcans, right? Like like not wanting to give into the emotion, because give into the emotions to
I
give
want
into
to
the force.
engage.
Yeah, like to give into the emotions to give into the force, and to give into the force means that you have this desire and you have this ambition, and God forbid you have desire and ambition, because that automatically makes you a Sith in their eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's fucking like it's just the fucking Jedi.
And that brings you passion.
Yeah. It's like the fucking Jedi, man. Like, God damn it. You know?
Yeah, it's like don't love, don't care, don't be caring, don't be human. Like, damn, I'm still.
Don't be human. Don't give into
Yeah.
your emotions. You know, you only need to have one emotion, and that's serenity, calm. No, you're fucking human. You can't. There's no fucking way.
Right.
You can be
You
calm all the time.
Kind of become robotic, especially Mace. Because I never understood why they said Ahsoka always used to say, "I'm no Jedi." You know, that's her famous line. And so when I got to the end, I'm like, oh, they cast her out and she walked away. And I get it from her point of view. She's like, fuck y'all. But it's like, damn, where are you going to go, Ahsoka? This is all you've known is the Jedi Order, you know? Like, which I guess saved her life that she walked away, right? She wasn't around for Order 66. Well, at the temple.
Right.
Order
True.
66. So
yo, she did whoop all them clones. Oh, yo, she did go through all them clones, man. She was scrapping like a motherfucker when she was going through those that flight was the docks.
Yeah,
the
floors was rising, them go falling. They was like new niggas every time.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And I think they did a good job of showing like how overwhelming the clone forces were to the Jedi. Yeah. Like, and like Palpatine is like, so he turned their army against him. Like that's it. Just I hate Palpatine every time.
Palpatine. I mean, you know, Palpatine is that dude, though, man. He will do that. Like he's so good. He's so good at it. He will do that. Like you see, like when you see him in the prequels, right? It's like, yo, this guy looks a lot like Palpatine. I think he's Palpatine, and then you realize he is Palpatine, and then you start seeing how he's like manipulating like political side on the Sith side, like. He's just like manipulating everyone, every time, everywhere, and I'm like, "Fuck, this guy's that dude. He can do that."
And you know, early in the movies, early in the shows, that he's going to win, and you're like, "Fuck you, man." You know what I'm saying? Like every happy moment I have with a Jedi just comes.
He's just in the background like this,
crashing down.
Yeah. You know what I'm
saying? Because it's like every single like moment or element is like he's seen it, right? And it's like that's how. He doesn't have like recognition or anything like that, but he's like seen it. He's like has contingencies for this. So it's like, you know, for example, and it was at episode 2 when he was fighting against Yoda, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yo, like he's like, okay, you're fighting me here, but little did you know there's a distraction. I needed y'all to be here so that I can have Order 66 go on, and you can't help. Gotcha. Yep. You know, it's fucking crazy. Like this guy, he saw everything. You know,
his line is classic.
It was a long setup plan, like
huge setup.
Look, I just finished what's a book? What is it? God damn it, Plagueis, Darth Plagueis book. Mm-hmm. Bro, like that setup, man, is such a long setup, man. Like the rule of two, this Palpatine crafted and inherited a crazy plan, and then betrayed his master to change the plan,
to do
it his way,
so that he would never fall to that rule. That's devious. He changed it so he would never fall to that rule. That's fucking devious, dude. Like, yo,
dude, like
so simple.
Yeah.
Be patient. So simple, but man,
culmination of all.
His line is classic though. The whole execute Order 66. I mean, it's just like classic. Every time you hear it, you're like, God damn it, man. You know what I'm saying? Execute Order 66. So, did you like them bringing him back in Rise of Skywalker? Did you like that? Was that a good move? I don't know, man. Because
coming off, he came back in the novels.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Really?
So I heard. So hasn't he been reincarnated? Like, I don't know if it's reincarnation, but hasn't he been alive for like 1,000 years or something like that? I don't know the book canon so well, but I thought he was alive for a long time.
He's an old dude, but
I can only comment on the Rise of Skywalker because I never read the books in that
capacity.
But like Rise of Skywalker, there was just a lot going. I think there was way too much going on behind the scenes. especially with bringing JJ back to kind of fix The Last Jedi, to fix what The Last Jedi did wrong. And then also, like, that wasn't the plan. So I felt like they just put him in there just to get him in there. Maybe they wanted to get him in there long term, but we had to wait longer for that to happen.
Nostalgia.
But like it seemed like they just put him in there just because it's something that would get Star Wars fans back to watch that movie. Because The Last Jedi has left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth, that it's just one of those things that I felt like it was just kind of a plant, just to get us there.
I think it's because like Snoke, they
originally planned for Snoke to be like the big, like the big villain, right? And even people were rumoring, oh, like this is like Palpatine incarnated or something, or there's or it's Palpatine's relative, or I don't know, something.
I remember all the theories before The Last Jedi about Snoke. Yeah, I was so intrigued about Snoke.
But then in Last Jedi, they fucking kill him, and I'm like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because it seems like you were building him up to be something more.
It might have just been Andy Serkis's performance as Snoke, but I was just intrigued, man. Then they killed him. I was like, what are y'all doing?
It was interesting. Why would you kill the guy who's supposed to be your next bad?
There was just enough mystery and setup between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi to kind of like, oh, okay, we're gonna see more of this guy. This guy is like our new Palpatine, or this generation's new Palpatine.
Because he wasn't really in the first one,
right? He was only like a vision.
Like a shadow,
in the first one. But then when they kill him, and then they literally bring back Palpatine in the third movie, The Rise of Skywalker, where it's like, I felt like they wanted to keep Snoke around.
Yeah.
But Rian Johnson is like, fuck that, I'm doing this my way. And he completely just fucked up a whole lot of setup and lore with his decisions in that movie.
I remember that whole scene where Rey and Kylo show up in the throne room, and they had been having these mind melds where they were seeing each other through the forest, like
which was cool.
I thought that was so cool. I thought that was so cool.
Awesome. And then you find out Snoke is the one that's connecting them. I'm like, oh my god, this
guy is
powerful. And they killed him. I was like, what the fuck y'all doing? And then they had the fight. The fight against the guards right after that was kind of soured, because you're like, damn, you just killed Snoke. This is a cool scene. That was the best scene in The Last Jedi.
It was dope.
Yeah, that whole scene of them in the room when they killed Snoke and they fought with the lightsabers. Yeah,
that was good. Yeah.
It could have been when Luke took out that fleet at the end, but they didn't do that shit, but whatever.
Let me say though, like,
by having him be a Force ghost, I thought if that was literally him, then that would have been so much more badass.
Way more badass.
Y'all want to make predictions about like what we think Filoni might be doing if with him is he's creative. What's it called? Creative director, chief creative officer. Also, does anybody know specifically what that entails?
I mean, I think Dee said it earlier, but he's going to basically be working with Kathleen Kennedy to he's going to be like the big consultant, right? Okay. He's going to make sure that all the movie and TV projects kind of stay on track with whatever they want to do, vision wise. So he's gonna have a lot of input on like story structure with whatever projects they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that also means story, like creating story as well.
Probably in some capacity, but he's going to have a lot of input on what is created, so he can change stuff. I'm not sure if it's him going to be actually writing stuff from scratch. Maybe he's going to be too busy for that now. But like he's going to be like Kevin Feige, right? In MCU. Okay. Right? So that's basically what he's going to be, but along with Kathleen Kennedy, the two of them together.
According to the Vanity Fair piece, Filoni says that he would be brought into a project after it had already developed a good ways, but now
he gets to be there from the beginning.
He will be there basically from conception. So basically, with everything that's going on. So it sounds like, speaking of Kevin Feige, the article says it sounds like he'll be taking a role similar to what Kevin Feige does with Marvel or what James Gunn is doing with DC.
Yeah,
which is great for Star Wars because he knows the content, he knows what we like, So this can only be this is a home run for Disney as far as the Star Wars division.
So what were you saying as far as predictions? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, you guys want to spitball anything? Like, What do you think he might do?
I think he's going to. Well, go ahead.
Well, okay. I just thought I was going to say I think he's going to do more of the damn it, I already forgot the name of it. Tales of the Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all watch those?
Yeah,
those were, I think, really good. And if I recall correctly, I heard that he was like essentially by himself, like arguing, "Hey, we need to make this happen. We need to do this." So I think like that might be kind of him, maybe not even directly dealing with Clone Wars, because a lot of that was like Clone Wars. I think it was all like Clone Wars, like related era of the Jedi Republic, right? But maybe it's going to do more expanded universe Tales of the Jedi type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
expand the lore a little more.
Yeah, because I mean, I love that shit.
I think in the same vein, it's technically a prediction, but it's like I think if he was smart, it's kind of what I would want to do. But like if he was smart, I think he's going to actually effectively start bringing together all of these different properties, right? These different universes, right? So not universes, they're in the same universe, but I mean these different, like, you know, bring Ahsoka and Mandalorian and like, you know, the Fets, even like, you know, like Boba Fett, or bring in like, you know, like somehow like incorporate it with like a new trilogy of movies, right? Like we might like, let's say we might get a fucking new trilogy that's just with featuring Ahsoka, right? Like around her, right? And you know, she has ties to Anakin, she has ties to Luke, and it's like, imagine if like it just like hinged on her, you know, somehow bringing like a whole new cast of characters, bringing old characters too, and like I feel like this new trilogy is going to be something with him on board. It's going to be something. It should be something like more inclusive of the characters we already have. But yeah, bring in new characters, sure. But I feel like, you know, we need new blood. We don't need a Skywalker leading the fucking next trilogy, for God's sake. Please, no more.
Really?
Yeah, yes,
okay.
Please, no more.
I'm with that.
No.
I don't know.
They were so close. They were so close with the last trilogy. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But Luke though is like,
he's the legend.
We get a new Luke, and we need more Luke related lore, right? Luke rediscovering, because here, one thing I feel like has to happen still is the reconstruction of the Jedi Order, right? Like,
in what way?
Not the same way it was, right? It has to be changed because that was the issue, but more along the lines of the original Jedi, right? The old original order, which used both sides of the Force to a degree. They were all kind of gray Jedi.
Hence why I feel like also another kind of technically a prediction, if he were somehow to incorporate Knights of the Old Republic.
You stole my prediction, Frank.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We just think of like
he's going to bring in the Old Republic, man. Yeah. That's such an untapped
Old Republic. Yeah.
So untapped. And I'm with Frank, man. We don't need any more Skywalkers, man. I love Luke to death, but the Skywalker thing has been done.
I feel like it needs to end. There needs to be a new beginning here, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you want to keep the Star Wars, because like you said, I love the Skywalkers. I do. But like we're talking 1977, right? Yeah. It's 1977. That is 46 years ago that Star Wars happened. You know? So
the
it's
universe
like
is so rich, it's just untapped potential. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. The universe is so big now. Why are we still hinging on, sure, you know, like we're looking at the legend, but let the legend be a legend. Maybe sure you can keep the characters in there.
Maybe some Tales of the Jedi with Luke, fine. But
sure. I feel like we need to move on from the Skywalker
series.
They were so close with the new trilogy. They were so close to separating themselves. The Force Awakens was a good start, although it was basically almost a shot-for-shot remake of A New Hope, right? But
they killed the Skywalkers at the end of that jump. But
then the Rise of Skywalker you had Luke's lightsaber. You had Luke's lightsaber in the Force Awakens. Then you had like you had like Luke straight up like kind of like almost joining the fight or coming back fully in The Last Jedi, but then he dies.
Remember at the end of Force Awakens when she hands Luke the lightsaber and you're like, yo, what the fuck is gonna happen?
And then in the fucking Last Jedi, my man takes it, he throws it over the fucking cliff, and I'm like,
I was like, what? I'm like, wait, why would you?
Disrespect.
Like, right there, I was like, what is that? Luke wouldn't do that. Like, just like, why is he so somber and shit? I agree though, dude. Like, the Jedi Order does need to be rebuilt.
I want to know why he was so bitter. We still don't know.
We don't.
We still don't know why he was so bitter.
Maybe they could do like a Luke
Wasn't it partially with Kylo Ren, right? Like,
was it Thrawn? Did Thrawn do this to him?
No, I think the whole thing with Kylo Ren hit closer to home than we think, right? Because he was training the Knights of Ren. He did say that in some capacity.
Why he did, but I mean, why would he think that Kylo Ren was all of a sudden evil and then try to murk this nigga? Like, some shit happened to fuck him up. I feel like
he was traumatized somehow.
Some happened to make him jump to that conclusion. What was it?
But
was it Kip?
Okay. It could also be. Shit? It could also be against all theory.
Sure, like,
it could also be maybe because Luke is like, oh, I'm done with the Jedi. I don't want to be a Jedi anymore, and I'm gonna become a hermit and isolate myself. But like this guy, but like maybe there was more Jedi. Maybe there was more Jedi training, more Jedi in him than he thought, right? And that's why he would automatically. I think like that's a good reason for him to automatically jump to a conclusion like that. No matter how close you might be to someone, right? If you have like a training partner or a Padawan, right? If you feel like if you see and you feel like that person is becoming evil in some capacity, you must end them. That is your duty, right? Look at Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin.
Or you could talk to him. I was having this conversation with one of my friends. Like, was that the honorable thing to do for Obi-Wan to leave Anakin to suffer and burn? Yeah, I feel like Obi-Wan, if that's your brother, you should have put him out of his misery. There never should have been a Darth Vader.
I think you should have killed him.
That was not honorable. Yeah. You left him to suffer and die on his own.
That was I think him killing him was not merciful. Him not killing him, I should say, was not merciful per se, but it was more like the emotional part of him. He couldn't bring himself to do it.
Maybe seeing him kill the younglings was just like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna let you burn."
Like I think like on some level he also thought like
kick him in the ass into the fire.
Kick him put him out of his misery. One swift lightsaber stab.
That's taking it to the next level right there, right? That's you being personally responsible, even though technically you were responsible. But at the same time, it's like he couldn't bring himself to do it, and it's like he essentially sentenced him to death with cutting off his arms and legs and shit like that. You know, like he essentially sentenced himself to death, so he could not go any further than that. As someone who truly loved Anakin and cared about him, it's not the Jedi way though.
Which is why I feel like if he truly loved him and cared about him, he should have finished him.
He should have.
That was dishonorable.
But he essentially did kill him. He just it's like what is it? The gun doesn't kill people, the bullets do. Right? So it's like he sliced off his arms and legs, and then he's like
you're Obi-Wan, you're like and he's right next to some lava, you're like, okay, he's dead.
There's no fucking way he's gonna survive.
Even Palpatine was surprised when he showed up. He's still alive.
But he did. But it's still like
this.
It's like they were so close in getting back. They were so close.
How much trouble would have been saved?
They were so close in the new trilogy with separating themselves, but they started like introducing like homages to the old characters. But then it turns out that we've been fucking following a Skywalker this whole time. Well, a Palpatine, I should say, this whole time, who then names herself Skywalker, and I'm like, fuck, it's a Skywalker all along. God damn it!
So the Last Jedi probably would have been top. All they had to do was nail Luke. Where the hell did she get that orange lightsaber? Was it orange or yellow? Was it a yellow lightsaber?
And what?
I still don't understand. Maybe I got to watch a video or something.
Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker at the end. Remember, she took it off the top of the staff because she buried Luke's and Leia's. Right? Was that Leia's?
Yeah. No. Leia never had a lightsaber. That was
She just buried Luke's.
It was Luke's lightsaber. I don't remember her bringing a second one. Did she bring a second one?
I thought it was two. It might have been only one. I think I saw that movie. I was so disappointed.
Was it Kylo Ren's then?
It might have been.
I don't remember.
Because Kylo Ren's has a unique look. It might have been his, because he's gone too.
So where the hell did that yellow lightsaber come from? She was carrying that around the whole time because she had that staff in the first movie.
It's probably just the kyber crystal that she chose.
Yeah,
that's all. Because you can choose yellow. It's just that we've been following Jedi and Sith who only have the 3 colors between them, right? But they have other colors.
Yeah, it was Luke's and Leia's lightsabers.
Luke and Leia. I didn't know Leia had a lightsaber.
Yeah, did she have one?
Yeah, because I gotta watch that movie again.
Y'all gonna make me watch.
That's another thing I want. I want to know Leia's. Yeah, I want to know Leia's story. She was actually really strong on the Force, like in this. And
she was strong.
Going through some of the old books.
She was strong.
She had her
really
duties mixed between being like
a princess,
being like the princess, and her training. But she was training as a Jedi with Luke, right? And then she spent time training Rey. Remember at the beginning of the last movie?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So like she had some capability in the Force, at least enough to.
Oh no, she was extremely Force sensitive. Like she was like
how the Vader,
not like Luke or Yoda level, but like she was very, very Force sensitive. Like she was very adept in it. But like
I always thought her training Rey, that little scene they had was like a response to the fans saying that Rey was a Mary Sue. You know, like how she just knew how to kind of do everything and didn't have to train. Yeah. And they just showed a little clip of her training with Carrie Fisher just to make, so you can't say we didn't train her. We trained her,
Yeah, so. She was absolutely a Mary Sue. I mean, I was very impressed by Kylo Ren though, because Kylo Ren, he's so strong in the Force. Like my man, how's my man able to hold a whole conversation while holding a Force bolt in place?
Isn't that crazy? That first scene where he stopped that bolt and just held it.
He needs to put his hand. He didn't put his hand up after a while. He was just like he put his hand down. The shit was still like, and he's holding a whole fucking conversation with Poe, and then talking to his ordering stormtroopers around. And then he's like, all right, let's go. And then the Force bolt fucking goes and destroys like a part of the ship. And I'm like,
he was definitely intimidating. Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, guys, I gotta disagree. I gotta go back, man. I don't want the Skywalkers to end, man. I was mad. I felt terrible when he died at the last movie. I think the Skywalkers, yeah. I think
Kylo Ren's not a Skywalker. He's a Solo. He is a Solo. He's not a Skywalker.
Leia's child.
I know.
Come on.
He's a blood. It's like bloodline.
That's like saying Jon Snow is not a Skywalker
as much as she wants.
But
she can call herself Skywalker as much as she wants. Like Kylo Ren was the descendant of the Skywalker bloodline. He carried the blood. That's why he was so powerful. I mean, Palpatine was powerful, but Palpatine was no.
I think that speaks to
he was. He was very.
I think that speaks to Leia's Force sensitivity, how strong she was, because she was able to pass that down to him, and he was just ridiculous. I mean, with training,
bloodline, man. Luke,
with training,
like I think Leia was super strong. She just didn't have the same level of focus on the training because she was doing her princess shit.
Yeah,
if she had trained like Luke had trained, she'd probably be just as powerful as anybody else.
Which would be awesome.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like that's true.
I think they should probably do you do have Disney Plus now. And I think so. You could do something, maybe a series on the Skywalkers. I would definitely watch it. But I think like a friend was saying, man, you need a fresh start now, man. Like look at the one home run that Disney hit, Rogue One. We didn't know any of those characters. We weren't even sure outside of Darth Vader. I was attached like shit, like Jen Erso and who's the guy who played Cassian Andor, even though he has a show Andor. But I mean, and that movie was great, man. It's like the universe is so rich, and you have so many different directions you can go. I think cinematically, movie wise, they should get off of the Skywalker.
Except for Mando.
Gotta go somewhere else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the Skywalker legend will always be there.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those franchises that needs to evolve and move on from what made it great. Right. We can't keep sticking to that because then it's just gonna suck. Right. Because we took everything good about like you don't have legends don't become legends if you keep them around. Legends become legends after they die off, or it's way in the future, right? Like, just leave them, let them be legendary by doing what they did before they died, and then let's move on and let's have them be legends. Reference them as much as you need to, but we should move on with these other characters that we've got here, other capable characters that we have here that can be vehicles for the next big thing in this franchise.
It just sucks because the last taste you have in your mouth of Luke is him dying as a Force ghost, or
dude.
Just
he should have been there.
On the planet,
he should have been there. Yeah, he should have fucking been
by
there,
himself.
Man.
No Jedi Order. Jedi Order still in shambles. So, like, what did he accomplish through his? I mean, it left a bad taste in your mouth, man. Like, this is pitiful.
I agree.
Whose idea was that?
I thought it was an amazing feat of power for him to project himself across that distance.
It was.
That was cool. It was cool.
That was an amazing feat of like force focus and ability.
It was
just to be like, and then whoo, that was.
But how much better would it have been if my man was doing that shit physically while he was there? How much more could he have done if he was fucking there physically?
Crunching the fucking things and the balls and throwing them at I do. When he came out of that cave,
he was. Look, the same way Andre 3000 is making flute music is the same way that old Luke didn't want to go fight some fucking AT-ATs, right? He just didn't want to. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done with it.
Right? You weren't disappointed when you saw that? Like
I just thought it was cool that he projected himself. I was like, that's That's Yoda level, high tier.
I thought it was cool in the moment.
I don't disagree with that.
That's all I needed, really.
I did, but after I thought about it, and the setup and the way the planet looks,
user isn't just about fighting with their lightsaber and crushing shit. Like
at that moment, when he walked out of that cave, it was about that though. Like when he walked out of that cave and that fleet was there and that army was there and he was staring at him. What am I supposed to face down?
I was wondering the entire time. I'm like, there's no fucking way that they're missing him. Like, there's no fucking way. This dude is like, it seems like the bullets are passing through him. The lasers are passing through him. Yeah. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, this guy is on. I felt like if he was there, like let's put him in the scene there. Like if he was physically there, I would have been like, okay, yes, it's an incredibly strong feat that he force projected himself across planets, across galaxies to get to this other planet. But what would have been more impressive with him being there, I'd have been like, this nigga just evolved in front of our eyes. Like, this nigga is the best. This nigga is the best Jedi that ever lived. You know, there's no one else that will ever compare to this dude.
When they all blasted on him and the dust settled, I thought he was gonna like relax and a force bubble shield was gonna like dissipate around him. I was like, oh my god, this fucking guy is like,
oh yeah, true.
We're about to see the best scene in Star Wars history, bro. Because the setup was there, the colors, the cinematography, everything was beautiful. Everybody's looking. He's saving their lives. They're all looking. What's he gonna do? You know,
like we would have.
Kylo Ren is scared. If fire on that man.
There, we would have witnessed like an ascension, straight up. Like I was just like, yo, this nigga.
You're right. When the dust settled from him firing on him, I was like, yo, this dude is so powerful. This dude is strong.
Like there's no fucking way, you know.
Wow.
Like damn.
The force projection was cool, but then if that's what you're gonna do, don't kill him. Like
I think the force projection.
I agree. Don't kill him off of that.
I think force projection was like a what is it called, a consolation prize. I really did.
It was an awesome show of power, though. It was like, damn, he's powerful as shit.
Like,
he can project himself across the galaxy.
Who do you know force projects? I never heard of that shit before. That's the first time shit's ever happened, as far as I'm aware.
Well,
was that the same movie where Carrie Fisher Mary popping back into the ship?
Yeah.
Or was that the third one?
Yeah, no, it was Princess. Yeah. Princess.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, no, that was the same movie. That was the same movie, but like. But yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I feel like the Skywalker, cool. Like keep reference them as much as you want, but let's move on from them. So hopefully Dave Filoni has an idea of moving on from them or bringing in properties that we want to see. Knights of the Old Republic.
Ezra Bridger. So question is Rebels, Ezra and them, and is Mandalorian? Are both of those Filoni's?
The Mandalorian is. I'm not sure about Rebels, but I know Ahsoka is. So
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka,
Mandalorian, and Clone Wars.
The Book of Boba Fett was which I hated the Book of Boba Fett. He did the Book of Boba Fett too, though.
Oh, he did. Okay.
It was really best when they brought the Mandalorian back into that show.
That was yeah.
When they brought the Mandalorian back in, I was like, "Oh, it's good again." What happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
episode 3 again. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is Mandalorian season 4 or 3." Oh, yeah. Okay. That's why this exists. Because I was like,
I trust Dave Filoni though. His track record, just off of the Clone Wars, he knows the canon, he knows the story, he knows the characters. I trust him. I think Star Wars is in good hands going forward.
Yeah, probably just gonna do. Yeah. I look forward to seeing what comes up next, man. Like, speculation aside, I'm excited. Like, I've been probably unhealthily on like a Star Wars binge recently. Like, I've been consuming so much Star Wars content, it's ridiculous. Audible recently had a sale on like Star Wars audiobooks that were just like half off. I spent way more than I should have. Like, it's a thing right now, and Claudia to tell you it's probably too much, but like the Star Wars lore is so rich and there's so much potential, and the characters are so like they're so conflicted and real, right? Like I'm going through the this book where like Kanan and Hera meet, and it's just like it's Kanan, man. Like Kanan Jarrus is one of the coolest characters ever to live, and it sucks because they're all dead, right? That's another thing you gotta deal with. Like you love all these characters, but they're all dead.
No, man, Kanan, man, shit.
But you want more of them, right? It's like, man, these guys are so great. Like, I want more of this character, so I'm like scrounging for like I got the comics, the Rebels comics and shit. It's just like, man,
I remember that mess went down with Kanan. I was with Hera. I was like, Kanan, no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like, wait, this not like this. Not like this.
Yeah, not like this. Yeah. What movie was that from? That's the Matrix. Yeah, not like this.
Yeah, it's Matrix. It's like not like this. It looks right at the camera. Not like this.
All right, guys, we had 2.5 hours, man. Y'all want to jump to one more? The students or? I love talking about Star Wars though. Star Wars is so cool. Yeah. One of the good things about it is it's like knightly because you have knights and there's swords, but it's futuristic because you have the lasers and the starships and it just blends the two so well. Which is why I want the Old Republic, man. I want the Sith and the Jedi at full power going against each other. Especially the Jedi Order. I'm with you, Juice. They need to rebuild the Order, man. The Order has been down and out since Order 66. God damn it! Like when are we ever going to see the Jedi back?
That was Dooku's whole philosophy. That was his whole philosophy. That was fucking Palpatine. Palpatine saw that fucking weakness, right? Like, the Jedi is fucked. Like, you think we're bad? The Jedi is probably worse in their own way. While keeping
and hiding behind the Republic.
Even
the
Tales
status
of the Jedi.
Quo. The status quo was their problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were too concerned with keeping that, and they would not. They had blinders on everything. The peripheral vision was.
But they weren't wrong.
No,
technically,
they
weren't wrong. They weren't right though. But they weren't wrong.
They weren't right.
Because remember what happened once the Republic fell. Then you got the fucking Empire, and it was worse for the people. Mm-hmm. So the status quo arguably wasn't good for all the people, but was good for more people than the Empire was. And then since then, it still ain't fixed.
But that status quo
in the last still wasn't fixed.
But that status quo, that status quo is not ideal for the people.
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal at all. Like you have this entity that like this large group, corporation, if you will, right? Like they go down, and then the fucking Empire comes along. And then when the Empire goes down, something else is going to come along. And the common denominator is that nothing's really being done about how it affects the people on the ground.
But also, you have to take into consideration nothing ever is done.
No, true. I'll agree with you there, but something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. So there needs to be more. There needs to be more action that the Jedi needs to take. Hence, restructuring them, right? Hence, having them understand that you can't just sit in neutrality all the live long day. You have to do something. We have to do something. Fucking go talk to the Sith. Be more political. Go fucking talk to the Sith and be like, yo, okay, how are we really gonna handle the shit between us, and how is this going to affect the galaxy? Right?
The Sith are fucking insane.
The Sith are evil backstabbers. I wouldn't trust them in a room either.
The Sith are evil backstabbers, but the Sith have what the Jedi don't. The Sith have what the Jedi don't, and that is passion, ambition, drive. You can get things done with those qualities. You get fucking shit done.
But what do they do it for?
They give it to the anger side.
Of course, they do it for the wrong reasons. But it's not. Those are not bad qualities to have.
They do have passion and they do care. And they do
qualities. Those are not bad qualities to have.
They're not at all. There's a human quality.
Right? I think we all understand. We agree that balance is the key.
Right.
So the Jedi were too good, but the Sith are too fucking bad. That's like going to the Nazis. It's like Nazis. Why do you? So what was the real problem? You would take what the real problem was. You know their answer.
And the problem with the Jedi,
the Jewish people, they're the problem. Well, I don't know about that. I think that's wrong, but
the problem with the Jedi is they were too involved in the Republic, and they had too much power, and the Force had to be balanced. They had to go down. Order 66 had to happen. You had to balance the Force back to the dark side as well. The Force is all about balance, and I think the light had gotten too, the Jedi had gotten too powerful.
I heard a suggestion a while ago that what the Jedi needed to do ultimately was separate from the Republic. For them to continue, they needed to
for them
not
to be allowed
a part of that government.
For them to be allowed to evolve. For them to be allowed to evolve, they need to separate.
And for them to be able to allow to make their own decisions and actually work for, not be, like you said, neutral. Neutral is a trap.
Mm-hmm.
To not be neutral, but instead to be objective, maybe. Actually objective.
Yeah.
Because neutrality and objectivity is not the same thing.
Not the same thing. No.
And when people conflate them, but it's not. And so if they were able to actually see places that were in trouble, it would have made them an enemy to maybe the Republic while they were helping people who actually needed help. Mm-hmm. And maybe it would have made them heroes to the eyes of the people who needed help at that time, right? But they would have been doing what's actually right, like the vigilante type shit. They would have been out there doing what needed to be done instead of essentially working as
it almost seems like they were it seems like they were hired guns or hired help.
They were muscle.
Yeah.
And even as involved as they were in the Republic, the seed of the Sith still grew right under the nose. You know what I mean? Palpatine was right there.
Palpatine inserted himself in there.
Mm-hmm.
For a specific reason. For specific reasons, he inserted himself in there because that's the smart fucking thing to do.
Yeah,
right.
That dude was a goddamn genius.
Infiltrate. Find out how the enemy works, and then destroy him from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's war. That's the art of war.
Give them the tools and then use that gun against them. Yeah.
And that's another thing about The Last Jedi that left a bad taste is you were wondering, what has Luke been doing this whole time? What's he been doing? And you find out that he's been rebuilding the Jedi Order. He started a school and he's bringing together other Force sensitives. And then they destroy the school. You're like, well, shit, I can't, the Jedi, I can't catch a break in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Damn, we got a school back and you destroyed that. What's going on here?
But that was one of the cool parts about Mandalorian. Remember when they went to go visit, when he went to go pick up Grogu We saw Ahsoka there, and they would just say he was like, "Yeah, we're rebuilding." They were out there doing building little shacks and stuff, and they were like looking for their students around the galaxy. And I was like, "Yo, that's I want to see. I don't need a lot of it, but give me some of that.
Yeah, just
give me some of the happy Luke, where he's out there with a mission, and he's like still wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know." Like, sure, he just killed his dad, but come on, man! Like, you had to do it. You're still a hero. You saved the galaxy. Right off that.
Well,
like,
he didn't kill his dad. Palpatine did, right? Like, Palpatine killed his dad with the electricity, and then there's like the whole "I am your father." How did he die?
Did he didn't get run through. He just got electrocuted, right?
He got electrocuted by Palpatine because I forget, was it because he sided with Luke, like, towards the end of the Empire Strikes Back, and then
I feel like he could have ate that lightning
Palpatine's
a little
like,
bit.
Nah.
That was his weakness. Hey, that was his weakness by design of the
suit.
I did hear that he put him in a weak light to keep him kind of in check.
So, like, that electricity was a death sentence for this nigga. Like,
yeah, there's no way. I mean, other people were able to survive it, right? Like, Luke was able to survive it, and I forget who else.
His suit was designed to be a conductor.
That shit was just that fried him from the inside out. So. Like, he barely had time to deliver "I am your father" before he fucking, he's fucking gone.
He took his helmet off. Was like,
yeah, he's like, but
those old movies.
Sorry, not "I am your father." Like, "I am your father" was shit. "I am your father" was Empire Strikes Back. I'm talking about Return of the Jedi. Excuse me.
I feel like Luke could have still dragged him onto the ship. They were right there. Drag his body on there, man. Take him. He did, right? Because he burned him. They burned him at the end, right? Am I forgetting that? Is that right?
Yeah, they cremated him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I totally forgot. What was the Ewoks? The Ewoks. I remember seeing that movie when I saw Return of the Jedi. Right, the Ewoks were there, and then remember they came out with an Ewok movie, right? But I just never connected the two. Man. Yeah, I know that
Ewok movie.
There's two Ewok movies.
It's called
what the fuck?
Is it called Ewoks?
Battle of Endor?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
There's two Ewoks. It's disconnected from Star Wars. It has nothing to do with it. But those are the Ewoks from Star Wars. Yeah.
I never seen them.
I watched them all the time as a kid. We had the VHS. Like,
oh really?
I can find that,
those 80s movies, man. They were special, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen them. I never heard of them.
There was these two little blonde kids, and they were like living with the Ewoks in their village, and there was like. It was a whole lot of shit going on, but
all those 80s movies, Willow,